Are we rolling? Yeah. Well, hello and welcome again to the HTML5 lecture series at SNHU. I'm Tom Adamson, visiting professor, and this is lecture 16 on the input element. The input element. This is really going to be a cool lecture, trust me. The input element has power and simplicity. I'm going to give you a demonstration of the power of the input element in HTML5. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have you challenge me to make a 5-minute app. I'll make an application in 5 minutes that can be used on any appliance as long as the browser is the platform. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. You guys can start timing me anytime you want. I'm going to start with the 5-minute app, and we're going to have the camera go on the screen, and we'll keep our eye on the screen there while I do this. And I'll just be explaining what I'm doing on the screen. First of all I did is I opened the folder. Okay, you can start timing me now. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to come down here to the left where this little start button is. I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to put in here, I'm going to type folder, F-O-L-D-E-R. And do you see at the top where it says folder options, right there? I typed in folder down here, and it says folder options. I open that, I click on it, and you see at the top it says general, view, and search. I'm going to click on view, and I'm going to come here where it says hide extensions for known file types. This is normally checked. What you want to do is uncheck it. You want to uncheck it, hide extensions for known file types. Come down here, click on apply, and then click OK. Then come back to the folder, and I'm going to right click on the folder, the empty folder, and I'm going to put new, and I'm going to come here where it says text document. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to rename it app, A-P-P, and then I'm going to hit the delete key to remove the extension. You see that extension there? .txt right there? That's the extension because it's a text file. I want to change the extension to .html, hit the enter key. I will get a warning message. If you change a file extension, the file might become unusable. Are you sure you want to change it? I click on yes, and when I do that, I see now it thinks it's a web page. Let me enlarge that some, okay? So, working right along with my app, keeping on the screen there, I'm just getting a note and staying on the screen. So what I've done is I've created what looks like a web page. I'm going to double left click on it, and there it is. Essentially, I've created my own window. This acts just like a window now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put one line of code in here. I'm going to right click on it. I'm going to open with Notepad. And I click on it, and there's my Notepad. And what I'm going to do for my 5-minute app, I'm going to type input. I'm going to put type equals, and the type is going to be date. Put a space, and then that. And then I'm going to do a Control-S to save it. Okay, that's all I did is I came here, File, and then I save it. And now I'm going to come over here to the browser, and I'm going to refresh it. And now, you might have to zoom in with the camera to see this. There I have. This came up right here. And if I click on this, I get a calendar. Can you see the calendar? And I did that with one line of code. Input type equals date. This is now through the browser. And the browser has done all this fabulous work for me, including giving me a calendar. Hey, that's my 5-minute app. How long did it take me? Probably 2 minutes. And now I can go out and sell this app as a calendar. Now looking at the calendar, what I can do with this calendar is I can come here and highlight a certain date, And look, it appears right up here. I can come over here and I can change the year if I want. If I don't want 2013 or whatever, I can scroll down here. You want to see a certain date, 2014. How about June 2014? That's what the 2024. That's what the days of the week will look like. I can come here and I can scroll to months and then come back down here and I get that particular month in 2013. So what I've done by using the input element, and if you notice the input element is a void element, that is, it has no closing tag. See that right there? What I'm going to do now is change the type from date, and I'm going to change it to color. C-O-L-O-R. Hey, I'm going to make 2 apps, probably in less than 5 minutes. What I'm going to do now is come back to the browser, I'm going to refresh it, and I get this funny looking thing. All I did was 1 line of code using a simple text editor. I'm going to click on it, and when I do, look what pops up. And when it pops up, what I can do is I can change this right here. See, I'm changing the range, and here I can change the intensity right here of the color. Look over here, I can change the hue. I can make the hue whatever I want. I can make it a 0 if I want. Or I can make it solid green. Let me put in 255, and then let me make the red 0. Let me make the blue component 0. And then there it is, it's green. And I can now add the custom colors right to here. And I can put OK. And now this is the purest green you can get. And you might say, well, what can you do with that? Well, with a little bit more code, using JavaScript, I can make this the background color of this particular document. Let's try another one here. Let's try, for example, file, F-I-L-E. One simple attribute change. Come back here to the browser, and then do a refresh. It says choose file, no file chosen. Let me click on that. Look, it pops up. Now I can go to my desktop. I can go here, pick out a file, and let me pick out a spaceship. Here's the spaceship material. I'll put open, and now look, it says that's the file that I chose. With a little bit more code, I can make it now so you can upload the file to a server. And you might say, wow, that is really too cool. And you know what? It is. I created, in essence, almost 3 apps in less than 5 minutes. So this is the power of the input element. Now, I'm going to go back to the board here. I'm going to go to the board here. And I guess I passed the challenge, with the power and simplicity. And let's look at some more stuff about the input element, which is a void element. And all I did is I changed the attribute, the type. I changed the value of the attribute. So I'm going to put here how you use the input element depends upon what attributes you give it. So the input element itself is simply, that's the input element. I do that because make it XHTML compliant. It's a void element. What gives it the power are the attributes, and one of the attributes that we used was the type attribute. So what we're going to do now is let's see what are the attributes, and what I'm going to do now is go back to the screen, and when we go back to the screen, I want to go to a particular website, and the website I'm going to go to, let me just click on my app here. I'm going to go to a new website that's going to be w3schools.com. Okay? w3schools.com. And here I am on W3 Schools. Let me enlarge this here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here to where it says search w3schools.com. I'm going to type in what I'm looking for, and I'm looking for the input element. So I'm going to type input, INPUT, come here to the magnifying glass, and there I see an HTML5 input tag. They're calling it the input tags. Okay, I'm going to click on that, and now I see it, and I'm going to scroll down here pretty quickly, and here are the attributes for the input tag, the input element. For me to go and explain what every one of these did would take a lot longer than what I want to spend on doing these lectures. What I want to do is point out that you can get all this information from this particular website. There's other websites that have this information as well, but I found this, the W3 Schools, to be very useful, accurate, and easy to get to. So look at the attributes: accept, align, and the values, the different values that you can have. The autocomplete, and this is new in HTML5. Autofocus, and these are the values of the attributes. I go on and on and on. The different targets, the height, the list, the max, multiple, patterns, read only, the size, number, step. Now here's the type. This is the different types we can have. Remember I had the date type right here. I had the color type right here. I didn't have a button or a checkbox, but you could have that. You could have email, you could have file, you could have image, you can have hidden, you can have month, number, password, radio, range, reset, search, submit, text, time, week, and so on. So what you can have with this particular element is amazing, and it's an extremely powerful element to use. And the best way to learn how to use the element is go here to this particular site and just try the different examples. Because let's say that I want the checked attribute, I want to see what that's like. All I have to do is come here, and I have an example that says try it yourself. And here I have a car, I have a bike, I check both of those. I submit it, it says this page was returned from the server, vehicle to bike, and vehicle is the car. So it shows you the code here on the left. Here's the code on the left. You can modify this code and then put submit code and then see what the results are. So you can play around with all the different attributes for this particular element. Okay, back on the board here. There's not much more to say about the input element. Hopefully what this lecture did, even though it's a short lecture, it convinced you of the power of this particular element and the simplicity of it, and the fact that you don't need any proprietary software at all to use it. You don't need to pay anybody anything. All you need is a simple text editor. Don't let the marketing people tell you otherwise. This is very straightforward, very simple, very powerful. Okay, that's it for this lecture. Thank you for attending. Okay, how did we